Hi everyone, it's Candace Krall-Goldman again from quantumhealers.com, and today I want to talk to you about being multidimensional and why BQH supports this new era of humans being multidimensional in terms of healing for sure. So I want to share something that's been showing up a lot lately in my practice as a quantum healing facilitator. And I have a hunch it might be showing up for a lot of other practitioners as well. It's not like this didn't happen when Dolores was working, but it's true. More and more clients are arriving already living and having sessions in a space that I can only describe as multidimensional. And when I say it that way, I don't really mean at all a poetic or an abstract way of talking about multidimensionality. What I mean is that they're experiencing and communicating from multiple levels of consciousness, all at the same time. So let's take a moment to define what that really means. So in the spiritual and alternative healing world, multidimensionality means that we, and reality itself actually, exists on multiple levels beyond, of course, just the physical. It's the understanding that humans are eternal and layered beings who function across different realms of experience all at the same time. We are not just our bodies or our thoughts. We're emotional, energetic, mental, etheric, and even cosmic beings. And every one of these aspects is active and interactive all the time, not just in a session, all the time. So I'm going to back up a second and break this down. In many healing traditions, the human being is described as having multiple subtle bodies. Have you heard that before? A subtle body? So there are a lot of subtle bodies, actually. There's the etheric body, which is the energetic blueprint of the physical body. It holds the life force energy and it sustains the physical form. There's the emotional body, and this is, of course, where our feelings, trauma, emotional memory reside. There's the mental body, which is home to our thoughts, our beliefs, mental patterns, looping thoughts sometimes, right? There's the astral body, and that's the dream traveling part of us that explores inner realms. You may have heard of the causal body, and that's often called the karmic body. And this carries soul experiences from lifetime to lifetime. And there's even a couple of things really interesting to talk about, kind of spiritual bodies. There's the Buddhic and there's the Atmic layers, which connect us to divine unity and universal intelligence. Now, if you've never heard of the Atmic body, here's a definition for you. The Atmic body, A-T-M-I-C, is the highest of the subtle spiritual bodies in many esoteric systems. It's associated with the pure essence of the soul, the individualized divine will, if you will, and unity with Source. The word Atmic comes from Atman, which is a Sanskrit term meaning the inner self or soul. And in multidimensional frameworks, the Atmic body is the layer where personal will aligns with divine will. And this is where duality dissolves and we get to experience full unity consciousness. It's not a body we typically access in day-to-day life, but glimpses of it may be felt in moments of total peace or divine connection, or even at the times where you spiritually surrender. Now, you have all these bodies, and they're not really stacked on one on top of the other like nesting dolls. They're actually interwoven. They're all active. They're all communicating. They're all experiencing. So when a client says, I had a gut feeling, they might be receiving message from the emotional body. If they had a vision in meditation, well, that could be the astral body tuning in. How about chronic pain? You know, sometimes that shows up in the etheric layer long before the body, the physical body, expresses it. So understanding some of these concepts, all these different parts of ourselves, is key to understanding healing. Because when we begin to access and integrate all these layers, all these parts of ourselves, healing becomes something far more expansive. So many challenges people face: emotional pain, physical issues, or that ever-present feeling of being stuck that so many people have, don't really start in the physical body or even the conscious mind. They can come from other lifetimes or parallel experiences, sometimes soul-level contracts, sometimes energetic imbalances that don't exist in the 3D alone. You can't go search for it in the physical realm. And here's the important part of this message. As we're ascending, we're not becoming multidimensional, because we already are multidimensional. This ascension that we're going through, this shift in our awareness, we're just becoming more aware of all of this, right? Every moment your consciousness is operating, not just here and now at the conscious mind, but across timelines and lifetimes, and of course, all those dimensions. Some clients receive guidance from a future self in sessions. Sometimes clients have lifetimes that mirror this one. Sometimes they step into this life that they're having now. Some reconnect with off-planet aspects of themselves. Any and all of that is real, and every bit of it is relevant. So let me tell you about a recent session. This is a powerful example. So I worked with someone recently who was grounded, she was healthy, she was stable, and she wasn't in crisis. She simply wanted clarity about her next steps in life. She was a healer herself, very much a seeker. But what unfolded in her session was really remarkable. She began describing multiple realities simultaneously. Messages came through from guides, different aspects of herself, her conscious mind, higher dimensional beings, her higher self. Sometimes even she was in observation mode about all of these different aspects. At one point, a wave of cosmic energy flowed through her body. This was during the healing portion of the session, and it was visible. It was visible on her face. It was visible in her body. It was like, well, it was a Zoom session, and I just watched her on camera. It was like she became younger and more beautiful. She was already a very lovely woman. But even her voice shifted and changed, and it was remarkable. So this is the kind of session we're seeing more and more of. Again, yes, Dolores had these sessions. We've always had this to an extent, but the simple, basic past life that we used to think we would have in this type of work isn't really happening so much anymore. Not as regularly, and it's not taking up as much of our experience as some of this other stuff. Now, traditional regression methods often expect that, right? A simple past life regression. Sometimes they expect a single voice or a linear story or a sequence, right? So many sessions in the past were past life, subconscious or higher self, body scan, healing, all of that. But more and more, it's more like, it's almost like a hologram. Multi-perspective, spontaneous, layered. It's really interesting, and a quantum healer has to be on their toes. And when I brought this subject up recently on the Quantum Healers Practitioner Forum, so many people chimed in with their own stories about how they noticed it happening for them too. And I'm telling you, that's interesting stuff. Even for me, who's done this work now 17 plus years and have done thousands of sessions, reading other people's session stories, even brand new practitioners, I get to go, I never thought of that. I never heard of that before. Some new stuff. It comes. It just does. It's wonderful. So this is also where Beyond Quantum Healing, or BQH, really shines, right? I created BQH to support this expansion we're going through, this shift, and all of the quantum healers who are working during this time. Because it's flexible and intention-based, and it allows for multidimensional exploration, energy work, and always the unexpected. It doesn't require a strict map. It doesn't demand a specific order, having things happen, you know, and it doesn't demand all of those parts be referenced. That just because they happen in other sessions doesn't mean that they're going to happen in all. So the higher self leads, the client's higher self. And to be very, very clear about this isn't about competition between methods. If you've trained in QHHT, of course, the thing that got me into this and so in love with Dolores Cannon to begin with, or another quantum healing modality, you are absolutely welcome here in our community. In fact, some of the richest discussions happen between practitioners who have different methods or different methods that they focus on. We are guru-free, and we love the conversation that we can freely have with no censorship. And we're here to support each other, no matter what you practice. And we're here to expand together, right? So if you're a healer or an intuitive or simply, you know, an explorer of consciousness in an alternative way, I invite you to join us at quantumhealers.com. We're service to others practitioners, where we collaborate, we share, we discover, we discuss things. And it doesn't matter what method you use, or if even you've created one of your own. What matters is openness, respect, and the shared mission of supporting others as they awaken to the truth of who they really are. Multidimensional, right? Because the future of healing is already here, and it is, in fact, multidimensional. All right. So thanks for joining me today. And if your clients are showing up these days in new ways, in this layered and luminous and multidimensional way, I'd love to hear it below. Let's keep the conversation going. Leave me a comment right here, or come join us at the community at quantumhealers.com. Thanks so much, and see you next time.